How the preparations been for the Cardinals?
It's been going really well so far. Obviously, today's the first day of practice. We had a great day of meetings, great day of practice. Had a lot of guys show up yesterday on a day off to watch some film, so guys are locked in and ready to go.
And when you look at their defense, I guess Buda Baker's the name that jumps out, but who are some of the other players at the different levels that came to your attention in film study?
Their nickel's really good. They've had some linebackers I played in the past, whether I think he played on the Chargers. He was a good player. Yes. So there's some veteran guys out there, and it's a good defense. Obviously, their record speaks differently, but they've been in a lot of games. They beat the Cowboys, who's a good team, so I'm sure we're going to get their best shot.
What are the biggest challenges when you step into a game like last week when you haven't been playing, get your first live action, and where do you feel like you need to improve going into this week?
Yeah, obviously when you don't play for a while, you're on scout team and you're trying to give a good look, so you're trying to kind of fit balls in. You're trying to you kind of experiment with your throws to see like what you can do. Trying to give the defense a good look. Where in a game you don't want to do that. You want to take care of the football. So obviously that interception there was an awful throw against the Vikings, and it's something that I just got to keep working at. So again, it's like you're not practicing out there. It's an actual game. There's consequences to those decisions. So I would say that's might be the biggest thing. But again, there's no excuse for that.
You're watching game film from them and what they're going to present. But is it this week more of a situation where Falcons are really focusing on themselves and trying to be your best version of yourself this week?
Yeah, we've been doing that. We've been trying to do that for the last several weeks. Again, we feel like there's been a number of games where we feel like we had it, but whether it's turnovers or penalties, kind of self-inflicting wounds that have kind of cost us games. That's not to take away from what the other team has done. They deserve to win, but we feel like if we clean some things up, we have a better percentage chance of winning. So I think every week is a week to get better for yourself, self-reflection, trying to work on things that you see you didn't do well in the previous game. But again, obviously we're playing Arizona too, so there's definitely a balance there.
How much does it help you knowing going into this week, like that you're starting, you already have a game under your belt and you can kind of develop a rhythm, I guess?
Yeah, I think routine-wise, it's a lot easier. Obviously last week it was exciting. It was your first start for the year, and a lot of family and friends were coming and stuff. But that's over with. Now it's time to like really get in a routine. And again, we're all putting in everything for this game. Obviously we've got a bye week next week, so this is the Super Bowl for us this week. Trying to get a win going into the bye and feel a little bit better going into that bye week.
Taylor, you've been in this position before as a backup. When you're in a situation like this, what's kind of the margin for error for you compared to what a starter would go through in this situation?
I don't really try and think about it. I really don't. The biggest thing that goes through my mind is just try and move the chains. If you get enough first downs on a drive, you'll be in scoring position, and once you get in the red zone, try and score a touchdown. Try and take care of the ball, and at the end of the game, if you do that enough times, you win the game. So, my biggest focus is going out there, playing clean football, and trying to get a win. And if we can do that, I feel like everyone will be a lot happier.
Arthur told us today he does not want to play musical chairs at the position the remainder of the season, and expects to be able to make a more firm commitment to, during the bye week. Does that put more on you? Do you not allow yourself to think about long-term implications?
Yeah, I try and block all that out. Again, if you keep on listening to outside noise and stuff like that, you start believing stuff, you start overthinking stuff, and when all your attention should be on the game and preparation. So, when family, friends ask me stuff like that, I really just ignore the texts, ignore the calls. Again, my biggest goal is to go out there and just win this game. That's the biggest goal for us right now.
Is it fair to say, though, that it is a common question that people are asking?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Drake back in practice today. Having back to school.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, Drake's a great player, great receiver. He's very friendly for a quarterback. Obviously, I don't think I've ever had a guy that big to throw to in my career. Obviously, Terry McLaurin, Jahan, all those guys were really good receivers. They were just kind of smaller, speedy guys, whereas Drake's a big guy. I can maybe sail one. He makes it look like a perfect throw. So he's very fun to throw to. Very glad he's back out there.
You mentioned scout team. If you were not starting, would you be playing the role of Kyler Murray right now?
Yeah, which I'm kind of happy I'm not. I'm sure they're going to ask those guys to maybe scramble a little bit and run around, and I'm not. That's not what I really like to do. So I'm glad I'm not in the scout team this week.
When did you find out that you were starting this week? Was it Monday? Was it Sunday night?
It was Monday. Yeah, Arthur came in the quarterback room and told us quarterbacks. So it was nice to know Monday instead of Wednesday morning.
So it was at normal time this week?
Yeah.
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 Last couple times, more so.
Yeah.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you've said on numerous occasions, this is Dez's job. Obviously, the situation has changed a little bit. How much stock do you put into that for you? Like, it's the opportunity right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm just focused on this game, and I think me and Dez have talked privately, and it's been great conversations, and I told him everything that he was doing when he was starting, keep doing it. Running the meetings, everything, because as a young quarterback, that goes a long way, and I think it's going to help him in the long run. Whether I start for the rest of the season or he goes back in, I think that's huge for him. So, he's leading some of those meetings, getting those guys in on off days, and I think it's going to help him in the long run. So, we have a great relationship, and we're pushing each other in the room. So, it's a good quarterback room to be in right now.
This quarterback room, you're kind of the veteran presence. You're a guy that has had spot starts, and the reps kind of come and go. How have you seen you progress as a quarterback in this season?
Yeah, the biggest thing when I first got here was my footwork. There's a lot of things I needed to work on, and Coach Rags has really honed in on it, and I've gotten better at it, but there's still a lot to work on. And that was kind of what I was referring to after the game last week. There was a little stint, maybe like a 10-minute stint in that game where my footwork was awful, and you start seeing balls kind of sail everywhere. So, again, we watched the film, we pointed that out, and it's something that we've been working on at practice.
Who do you kind of, look up to or lean on or things like that, I guess, throughout your career and even now? Well,
I fell in love with the game of football because of Brett Favre. The way he played the game, he was very passionate, he had a lot of fun. So that's why I fell in love with the game of football, so I try to emulate that. Since of being in the league, the first veteran I had was Sean Hill, and I think he saved my career when I was young. There was a lot of times where I would go out to practice and feel like I was practicing great. I was still getting yelled at. I didn't know why. And he was like, dude, you're a rookie. That's what they do. You're fine. You're doing great. And I feel like if I didn't have that, I would have kind of been mentally, not right. So kind of going back and remembering how those veterans treated me and helped me, I try and do the same for Dez, and if Logan needs it too. But Logan's kind of a veteran as well. So, I go back and look at those things that Sean told me. Who else was in there? Cam Newton, guys like that, and I try and pick the things that they help me with, and I try and give that to Dez.
Does that tie into what you told us earlier about, you told Dez you wanted him to keep doing everything he's been doing, including leading the meetings to keep his morale?
Well, I don't think I've ever been in a position in my career where, this has kind of happened, and I've seen that happen from a veteran, but kind of looking back at it, like, I try to keep Dez as involved as possible, and, God forbid, I might get hurt on the first play, and he might have to go in, so he needs to be ready too. So, again, if he keeps doing that, he's going to get more comfortable with it, and throughout the years, I think it's just going to help him tremendously. So, again, he's done great with it. He hasn't changed. He's been the same Dez, and again, it speaks to his character. He's done a great job.
You mentioned your friends and family. I'm sure you're more focused on the loss, but did you have a moment to really appreciate playing in front of them in your hometown?
Yeah. It was different 2 years ago when I was on Washington and came down and played. They got to see me play down here, but it's different when you're actually playing for the home team. So it was really exciting. The really crappy part is after the game, everyone acts like you just lost a family member, so they're all just looking at you. I'm just like, can we just talk about anything other than football? So there's definitely a fine line there, but it was great. I got to see a lot of friends I haven't seen in a while. So it was cool. I got to hang out with them afterwards.
Was your entire family there?
Yeah, they were all there.
Taylor, where's this team at after a couple losses that I'm sure are heartbreaking for you guys. And then I know you talked about the challenge of kind of having to having to go play this game in this situation ahead of the bye week. How do you think the team is handling all that?
I think we handle it great. We come out to practice every day and we work, and you see it. Guys are in tune. They're ready to work. And again, we felt like we've let 3-4 games kind of slip. But again, at the same time, the future is still in our hands. Like, it's not. We don't need people to lose. If we just go out there and keep doing our thing every week, our future's in our own hands. So that's a good position to be in halfway through the year. Obviously, we would rather have a better record right now, but the fact that we still kind of hold on to our own destiny, that's a good position to be in.
You keep saying like you're still telling Devin to lead the meetings and things like that, but are you also kind of taking leadership as well in maybe a different way, and then how so? Yeah,
so in those meetings, obviously he's running it, and he's like, Taylor, speak up if you see something, or I don't say something that you see. So again, it's we're kind of like a team in there. We're telling guys if he's going through a play and he forgets to tell someone a coaching point, I'll speak up and say it. It's a good little thing we got going. I think we're helping each other out tremendously.
Who's helped you the most with your footwork here? Is it Ragone or is it?
It's Ragone.
Yeah.
He's been around. He's been around a lot, and Dez as well. Dez has really good feet, so he's kind of helped me throughout it all. He's got really good mechanics, and again, I watched Brett Favre, who was back there, kind of just slinging it. So it's there's a fine line there.
How are you guys looking at this? I know each week is different, but how do you look at this one a little bit differently, given you guys haven't done exactly what you wanted the last couple games?
The goal is to go 1-0 each week. A little bit more urgency, with us coming off 2 losses. You always want to, anytime you're going into a bye weekend, you want to have good vibes going into there. With our bye being so late in the year, these games are very important. For us to be, where we want to be at the end of the year, and that's competing to be, in that playoff picture. This is a big game for us, and I think that we understand that. It's been voiced in this locker room, so I think we got the right guys in this locker room, and we'll respond well.
I know you said obviously a win every week is the goal, but how much emphasis do you put a win on this week?
Yeah, like I said, I think anytime you kind of get behind, your goals and. You're 4 and 5. You lost 2 in a row. I think the sense of urgency starts to pick up a little bit more. So I would say that's the biggest thing. It's just there's nothing that's changed. It's just a little bit more sense of urgency. But like I said, that margin of error really continues to get really small throughout the year, especially towards the end of the year. That's when you want to play your best ball. So that's the biggest thing. Just want to continue to improve, continue to. Go in the right direction towards the end of the season, and like I said, hopefully get to the playoffs. And like you said, we got everything in front of us that we wanted, that we talked about since OTAs. So that's the approach right now.
Last one for me. Jerry was talking about earlier how you guys have to go back to the fundamental things, talking about tackling and just getting back to what you guys did earlier in the season. How much is that a point of emphasis in what you guys have talked about since Sunday? Yeah, like I said, the margin of error is really small now, so just going back to the things that has continued to hurt us. Something as simple as line up your exact assignment, your exact alignment, in every single defense is something that we've been emphasizing. All across the board, special teams, offense, defense. That's how we're going to get back on track. Is going back to what got us to 2-0 at one point, and the wins that we have now. So. It's a 1-week season. Like I said, it's going to be a big week going into our bye weekend to get back on track. I know you want to win every single Sunday, but how much emphasis do you put on a win against Arizona this week?
Oh, it's huge for us. It's huge for us. We still got everything in front of us, and right now, this is the biggest game of the season for us. And we're going to continue to prepare how, we're preparing, and, maybe even a little harder. So, we're going to put all in this game and, get some momentum going into the bye week, rest up. And, we understand the importance and the sense of urgency that we need to have.
I'm sorry for cutting you off. John, how would you evaluate what you've seen out of Taylor so far?
He's been great. He's came in, he's did a phenomenal job, and continue to be a leader and, make plays for us down the stretch when we need them. And, we just got to, find a way to collectively, in all 3 phases, man, win. That's ultimately the goal. So.
that's the goal every single Sunday. But when you look at this one heading into Arizona, how important is it to get a win this Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. Obviously we're, in a position where we want to, finish out strong before, we get a break. But, we can't really worry about what's ahead. We just got to worry about one game at a time. Because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in, we got to make the playoffs, do all this, win the division. But, we need to start focusing on, the task at hand, which is the Cardinals, and stop overlooking and looking ahead, because that's when you can get, not focused on your opponent. So I think that, obviously we want to get this win, but just focus on just one team at a time.
When there is a change at quarterback consistently, and maybe you guys don't know what's happening after the bye week at that position, how does that change the chemistry on offense for the team?
Well, for me, I feel like it can't really change, because when we start thinking about a change of chemistry, then that's when you start, looking at the negatives of an offense, or the negatives of, what we're trying to do. So, obviously, Taylor's the guy right now, so we need to continue to, lean on him and, be by his side and, make plays for him. Because when you start getting into the quarterback talk, especially in the middle of the season, it's kind of hard for an offense to gel, because you're just unsure. So I think that, having Taylor here is what we got to focus on. Obviously, Desmond's right there to support, and, we support him as well. But we just got to, stay focused on, who we have right now, and keep on training, keep on going.
You're in the middle of your rookie season. When you look in the mirror and you look at what Bijan has done so far through 9 games, what can you do better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not in college anymore, so, I got to continue to improve on my ball security. Dude's pursuing this league, and I've had 2 fumbles this year, so that's a lot, especially for my standard and what I'm trying to do for the team. So just continue to, hone in on that, and then obviously just grow as a football player. When I was a freshman in college, I had to get used to that and get used to the speed of the game. I feel like now at this point in the season, I'm starting to really get used to, the speed of the NFL. And it always happens, I feel like, for a young guy. Sometimes it happens for, some young guys it happens faster, some young guys it happens, kind of towards this time in the season. But I really feel like it's moving the right way in terms of my development. But just continue to just harp on those little things, and just do it every single day. And, don't get comfortable. I feel like it can get easy to get comfortable because it's a long season. But for me, I don't ever want to get comfortable in this game. I always want to, put the pressure on the opponents, and put the pressure on myself and my teammates.
We fought through that.
That's crazy. Oh, so aggressive. God.
Where have you developed the most, you think? Or where have you seen that development in your game the most?
I think just my patience and pass protection. I always work on running the ball. I feel like that's a gift that God's given me, and run the ball and catch the ball and run routes. But I think my patience and pass protection and how I protect the quarterback, I feel like that's where I felt improvement the most in my game.
Is there how do you feel like your usage is it a lot's been made of that, both how many snaps you're playing, but also that you're maybe not getting the ball as much as some fans would like?
Yeah, I mean, we all see that, but I think that, I've never been a guy that's been the guy to ask, for carries or anything like that, because I feel like that really gets, in the middle of a team. And, obviously for a running back, or for a player in general, you want to get in your rhythm. But it's whatever you get for that team, and however the coach manages that, that's what I'm gonna go by. So, for me, I'm just trying to make every opportunity that I can count for the guys, for the team, and whether it's not as much or a lot, I'm gonna do my best to make the right decision on the field.
Where does it feel like for you though, where it is? You're at, take out the illness game, I think you're 16 and change a game. Does that feel about where you think you should be, or?
I mean, like I said, I can do whatever. I'm prepared for whatever, Coach Smith, Coach Petrie had me do. And, I'll just go from there on that one.
Your locker is by Jake's. What have you learned about him or from him from a leadership aspect?
Well, I mean, we go to dinner every Thursday. I actually just started that with him. So
Just him?
no, with all the O-line and the quarterbacks. But I sat with him last Thursday, and he was just kind of telling me like his first year experience in the NFL, and just kind of saying like, you know, he had to get used to, you know, just having some time on his own and learning how to use that time, learning how to, you know, develop in watching film, you know, at a high level, and not knowing what to watch, but actually knowing how to watch, you know, the film. And, you know, we just talked about, you know, how to, you know, use I guess myself in communities and a lot of different things, because obviously on the field, you know, it can be a long season, but it's how to manage your time. It's how mentally I feel like you'll be more clear for the game, because, you know, you go through a whole week, and especially for him, he went through a whole week, you know, his first year, and he was just like kind of down. So he had to learn how to, you know, manage his usage of time, whether it was on the football field or off the field. And we just kind of just talked about that a lot. But he's actually helped me out a lot, especially on the field. Like, if I made a weird read, we'll talk about it, and he'll be like, "What'd you see there?" And just even that communication just really helps us out, you know, a lot, especially like for Sunday.
Is it the work-life balance you're learning from him? I mean, it's weird to put it that way, but in college you had classes and you were a student and fun and whatnot, and now it's like this is a job.
Right, like in college, like obviously I was always busy, you know, with something. And then here, I mean, like I'm busy, obviously with football, and then, you know, you got your obligations outside of here as well. But, you know, just me just learning how to, you know, manage it all the right way, and, you know, try not to get like burnt out or anything. Him, Chris, like they've all helped me out, especially like Grady, like he's helped me out a lot, and just talking about how he handles things and how I can do better at it too.
Can we talk about the dinner? Did you start that?
No, that was Desmond and all the quarterbacks.
So they started last Thursday?
No, they started at the beginning of the season.
Oh, okay.
But we kind of found out about it, and the running backs joined in on it too, so it was cool.
Are you kind of surprised with the amount of attention that is kind of being out there about like your usage, right? Maybe not enough usage. Are you kind of surprised, especially for your rookie season, that people are like complaining that you're not being used as much or in certain ways?
I mean, I feel like people's opinions, I understand them, but I feel like you know, coach is trying to do the best that he can, and you know, even in college, like my first year, you know, we got guys, you know, other guys too. You got Tyler, CP. Like, you know, we're all, I feel, really good running backs that can contribute. So for me, I just try to be as supportive as I can, and not really complain about it, because I feel like complaining about it, you know, it only hurts the team. It hurts who you are as a person. But I know that, you know, when God has a plan for you, it's going to happen the right way for all of us, and the timing of His plan, it's all going to be good. So that's what I focus on the most.
But has it been an adjustment? Like, I mean, I'm sure you want to play every single, you know, and have an impact play. Has it been an adjustment, kind of being like the other guy sometimes, you know?
I mean, I feel like even being another guy, you know, it can help your offense. You know, and whatever you're being used, however you're being used, I think that you can be a decoy no matter who you are on the field, or you can be used in certain situations. But I feel like when you're on the field, you got to be a help, either if you have the ball in your hands or if you don't have the ball in your hands. So that's kind of how I look at it.
At this point in the season, when you're getting ready after this week, it's the bye week. Have you kind of learned to adjust on how to take care of your body, maybe compared to college, and just how big of an adjustment has it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think here at this level, it's a lot easier to take care of my body, just because like at the college level, you know, I had to go to practice and I had to go to class, whether it was online or and then NIL was a big thing, so we were all like doing stuff for NIL. So like taking care of my body was like it was important, obviously, but it wasn't like the focus. But now, like, taking care of my body is the focus, because I need to be as healthy as I can for the game. So, you know, I've been in the training room, you know, even if nothing's wrong with me, like, I'm just still in there, just finding something to do. And that's, like, what I learned a lot here at this level.
Are you excited for the bye week? Like, I mean, are you kind of where I can take a bye week, or are you like, I'm still going to be, like, off football all the time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm gonna be like cool on it, but obviously, like, we want to win this game.
so we can have a good bye week. So that's the thing right there.